Right now, though, we're off to San Diego because LaDonna Harvey is here, the breakfast show host from KOGO. LaDonna, how you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing all right.
Now, obviously, we're going to talk about the shooting in Tennessee in a moment, but nasty neighbours, noisy neighbours. We've got a lot of people ringing in today complaining about noisy neighbours. What happens if you've got a noisy neighbour in America?
Well, usually they get a sternly worded document from a neighbor, generally, you know, something nasty posted on their car that says, if you don't turn it down, I'm going to slice your tires.
Yeah, seems sensible enough.
I don't want to hear you doing anything.
Right.
Thank you.
Yes.
But you can call police. They don't take it very seriously. They never do. They don't figure it's important. But, you know, they don't really take break-ins important. I called police on a man who was in my garage at home, which is a, you know, kind of a public use garage. You hadn't put him there for those who live there. And they said, oh, does he have a weapon? And I'm like, well, he's a he and I'm a girl, and it's 2:30 in the morning and I'm a little wigged out. Yes. They're like, yeah, call us if he has a weapon. Oh, okay.
Oh, great.
All
so
right.
he can just hang out in your garage then, meanwhile.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like California's gone the way of Great Britain then.
Yeah, we are very quick to catch somebody speeding, and I say this as somebody who on occasion has been known to speed, but not so fast if somebody is actually breaking and entering into something. They just want to know, do they have a weapon? If the answer is no, okay, well, call us back when somebody's dead.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, we had a couple of stories the other day with this is why we were talking about the noisy neighbours. We're basically being told by the government they're going to crack down on noisy neighbours, but if you happen to be somebody who's been found guilty or charged with a sexual offence, as long as you say sorry, they'll probably let you off.
Well, it's this weird, you know, juxtaposition of laws that we're seeing, and I think it's happening not just where you are, but in the United States as well, where, you know, truly egregious crimes are kind of ignored, but easy money for the city and the state is absolutely, you know, hammered on. They want to put in streetlights and cameras, and they want to catch you rolling through a stop sign. But if you have an actual problem with someone breaking into your home, well, you know, we're not going to make any money off that. So handle it.
No, exactly
right.
Well,
okay, but I don't think you're going to like it.
No, indeed. The usual noises coming out of the White House today about gun control after yet another school shooting, Christian school in Nashville, a private school this time. Unusually, though, it was a woman that actually carried out the shooting, which doesn't happen very often. So,
slightly unusually, she actually identifies as a he on social media. I don't know, and I don't mean this to be offensive. I honestly don't know what to call them, they, her, she. Right. They are transgender, for what that's worth. A 28-year-old biological male who apparently has transitioned. This person went to that school, but consider that they're 28 years old. That's a long time to hold a grudge.
Yeah. Isn't she a biological female? I don't mean to correct you. I thought she was a biological female who was transitioning the other way.
Student identifies as male. I
think she identifies as male. Yeah, I mean, this is where it all starts to get a bit confusing. I think she identifies as male, but was actually born a biological
female shooter. Well, exactly, and that's, you know, that's the curse of language that we have right now. Is you read something and it's like, I don't really even know what that says.
I know.
I don't know who this person is. However, we do know that they had a manifesto. And I've often said, if you find yourself writing a manifesto, you should maybe stop and call your psychologist if you have one. They had maps of the school. They had a plan to hit 2 places, not really sure which the other place was, but they've managed to kill, you know, 3 9-year-olds in their fit of rage over whatever it is that they had their fit of rage over. And 2 adults, the head of the school and a janitor. And, you know, we still just, it is incomprehensible to anybody, even in America where we do have guns, that you would take a gun to a school and start mowing down little kids. I don't know why somebody would do something like that.
It is extraordinary.
Idea.
I mean, I saw a press conference earlier from the Nashville police, because it happened in an area of Nashville where at least they responded pretty quickly. I think within 14 minutes of the attack, they had shot her dead.
Right.
Which is obviously in contrast to what happened in Florida.
Well, exactly, and that's, you know, I think one of the things that
Texas,
you know, one of the things that people have so many questions about, and that is, you know, how do police respond and how do they do it quickly? In Uvalde, Texas, obviously there was a massive under response by police. And so there are questions there. But one would have thought after Columbine that we learned, if someone is in a school and they have a gun and they're shooting people, you have to go in and get them.
Right.
You have to go in and stop them. You have to make them stop doing it. And the video is just, it's just horrific, you know, as we watch this person walk into this school knowing full well that they're about to kill people.
Yeah, I mean, it must be just awful for the parents as well, because, you know, you send your child off to school, you really don't expect for that to happen. But I'm told now that children in America are actually taught how to hide from gunmen and gun
Right.
people.
Yeah, you know, when I was growing up in Texas, we had tornado drills. Now we have active shooter drills.
Right.
I'm not sure that either one is a terribly healthy thing. One is, though, based on the reality of weather, and then the other thing is, you know, based on the reality of the level of crazy that we have out there. Just people who are so furious at whatever it is that they're so mad at, that they feel like they, you know, are completely justified in waltzing into a school and mowing down, you know, 6, 7, 8-year-old kids.
Yeah.
Somehow that's gonna, assuage your rage? I'm not sure what the logic is.
No, quite. And finally, you talk about tornado, there was a terrible tornado in Mississippi, resulting in a few deaths. It seems a bit early in the year for tornadoes, isn't it?
It's spring, and that's generally when we start getting them. We've had such unusual weather patterns this year, courtesy of, I don't know, El Nino. The El Nino has finally gone away. But, you know, lots of these weather patterns have started roaring in off the coast of California, and then they're suddenly affecting all the rest of the country as well. What are we on, our 18th, 17th, or 18th atmospheric river? You lose count after a while here in California. So this one in Mississippi has killed more than 20. And you look at the path of destruction of this thing, it's an EF4, so they go up to about EF5 or 6. So we're talking hurricane force winds, but compacted into a storm that is very, very small, you know, when you look at it on a scale. The destruction is near complete of at least one town. It is
terrifying.
Rubble.
I mean, tornadoes are just, you can't understand how bad they are unless you've actually been in one, can you?
Right. And I grew up in tornado country, and they're not fun.
Yeah.
You know, there are also questions. This is an area that gets tornadoes. There are questions. Why weren't there any sirens going off? Because generally when a tornado hits, or you have the formation, you have a few minutes, you know, from the formation of that funnel cloud generally. And, you know, people are saying, there was no siren, there was no nothing. So there they were, you know, minding their own business, and suddenly it's just gone.
Right. Yeah, I was in Wichita, Kansas once in a hotel room at about 2 o'clock in the morning, and the tornado warning went off. I didn't know what it was, so I just turned over and went back to sleep and was sort of dragged out of the room by somebody who came in and said, "It's a tornado. It's coming down the street. You better get down in the shelter." And I was like, "Okay then."
Exactly.
And it was like nothing I'd ever seen. And I mean, and actually, I went and had a look out the window, out the front door of the hotel, and one side of the street was actually fine. It was kind of coming up to dawn, and the other side of the street was completely black. And it hit the car dealership, which was about sort of half a mile down the road. Didn't hit the hotel, thankfully.
Yeah, it's the straight, you know, they bounce.
But the noise was incredible.
Tornadoes.
And the noise of it.
Yeah, they'll annihilate an entire neighborhood, and then somehow, boop, you know, right over one house sitting in the middle of a path of destruction. You're like, how did that happen?
I know. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Well, listen, good to talk to you, LaDon. We thought we'd move you up in the week if Tuesday suits you better, because I think we've been missing you at the end of the week.